Alright, here we go. Apparently, Sheriff Grady has graced us with his presence. Looks like he's got more
very
news
much
for us
for
today.
being.
He's the
Morning,
Florida
everyone. Thank you very, very much
Polk
for
County
being
Sheriff
with us today
in Florida.
as we are excited to talk about the largest seizure of fentanyl in the history of the Sheriff's Office. And this is all about remarkable
He's
work
basically like that other sheriff that
into
was
the
like,
two
"We'll kill
largest
you."
drug cartels in Mexico. But before I do that, let me introduce to you, first and foremost, our prosecutor, Brian Haas, state attorney for the 10th Judicial Circuit, and in my estimation, the finest prosecutor, not only in the state of Florida, but anywhere in the United States. He does the right thing. He's going to speak to us in a little while. We also have Austin Leal from Auburndale Police Department with us today, Terry Story with us, Mark Brutnell from FDLE, and he's going to also speak today. We have Chris Nelson, Brandon Shealy, who's a supervisor. We have Javier Lopez from Border Patrol.
This time he was doing
us.
drug trafficking.
Michael
I think the
Garland
last
from
time we
HSI,
saw him do
Jim
something, he
Gill
was
from
doing
US
a
Postal
human
Inspection
trafficking.
Service. Why do I list them? Because when you do investigations of this magnitude, no single agency can successfully do them. It takes us all working together. And let me underscore that there's no light between any of us. We're shoulder to shoulder to protect the people of the United States from this evil, evil drug, fentanyl. And I want to highlight before I start giving you the details, and I'm going to give you a 30,000-foot view of this, because obviously there will be other investigations
Is he talking
into
about
these
what happened about the
cartels.
nuclear
But I
bomb?
want to give you an example. Between
Trump.
2018
What was that?
and 2023, 340,000 people
Was that like a
died
subtle
of
joke to
fentanyl
fucking
overdose
Trump's
deaths in the United States.
dropping the fucking bunker busters?
Did you hear what I said? I didn't stutter. You can't count that high on your fingers and toes. 340,000 people in the United States died of fentanyl overdose between 2018 and 2023. What's important to recognize that? Why it's important to recognize
drug
that is simply
overdoses
this.
is on the rise.
Do you see anyone in the United States,
And particularly
up in arms
from
about
one
that?
Anyone?
Anyone?
Right.
Do you see anyone saying we've got a
Specifically
crisis on
from
our
one
hands?
Do
you
that
see
just means
anyone
the
saying we have an
right?
epidemic
How
on
lethal
our
the drug
hands?
is.
Do you see it leading the evening news? And the answer to all of that is no, no, no. Well, in fact, we do have a crisis when 340,000 people have died in 5 years in the United States of America from this overdose of fentanyl. So I ask you this: what would we be doing if 340,000 people died from the food served in the cafeterias at elementary schools
what if it was
in that
laced with
period
your
of time?
food? Yeah,
How
that
would
could
we
be real
react?
bad, right?
How would we react if 340,000 people died in county jails from us feeding bad food? There would be storms. There would be people
just eating
fired
bad food in general.
and
Yeah,
unelected.
you don't want to eat
There would be
rotting food. It's
congressional
bad for your stomach.
investigations.
It'll make
Every
you sick.
state would be doing investigations.
Right, fungal food
yet
with
we
like actual
pretty much
fungus
sat
in
silent
it. Yeah, that'll
While
fuck you up.
340,000 people in the United States
I'm talking
died
like the
from
bad
fentanyl
fungus.
overdose.
Not
And
not
where does
the
the fentanyl
not
come
the
from?
bad
It's
the
coming
good
across
fungus you
our
can eat.
southern
I'm talking
border.
about the bad ones.
Now, the
You
good
don't want to
news
eat that
is,
shit.
since the border's been shut down, we've seen some drop in that. Since these massive investigations have occurred, we've seen a drop in that. But I want to get back to where I started. And where I started was simply this. We all work together to protect people and keep people alive and safe. So let me introduce you to the Sinaloa Cartel and the Jalisco Cartel.
Jalisco
The Sinaloa Cartel
and
has
Sinaloa.
been weakened
We know about the
with the
Sinaloa. That's
arrest
a
of its
well-known.
leadership. They're actually working
Have
together
been on
some
the
with the
news for
Jalisco Cartel, which is the
often
two
on the news a little bit.
largest drug trafficking organizations in Mexico. They call it transnational criminal enterprises.
Antifa?
These people are violent. These people want your money, and they don't care whether or not they take your life. So we start out with these two groups of very dangerous people delivering a very dangerous drug. This is not the only drug that they deal with, but we're going to focus on fentanyl today. I'll give you the 30,000-foot overview. It started in July of 24 with a fentanyl pill investigation. And between July 24th to January of 25, there were 8 kilos of fentanyl pills, or 80,000 pills, that came in from Phoenix. They came across the border in Mexico to Phoenix and ultimately to us. There were 6 operations during this total time with about 8 kilos of drugs that were seized. And then in April 28th of 25, we seized 4 more kilos, 40,000 more pills. It was delivered by Regina Headsmith of the Sinaloa Cartel. So these are the 2 representatives we arrested from the Sinaloa Cartel. These are the folks
they were
that were assigned
they were
to the Jalisco
to the Sinaloa Cartel
in the pending operations.
And then you had the Jalisco.
So we ultimately arrested her for delivering 4 kilos of fentanyl pills, and she delivered those to Lakeland, Florida. She was ultimately arrested on June the 19th in Maricopa, Arizona, Maricopa County, Arizona. And then there was Adrian Munga. He flew from Phoenix to Tampa to Bartow to pick up the cash for the 4,000 pills.
He went flying. Wow.
He was arrested on June the 17th when he came a second time to bring us 4 kilos of. So between all of their transactions, we seized 35 pounds of fentanyl pills, or about 160,000 pills. Now, 1 pill is a hit. 1 pill. But understand, we had 160,000 hits. But that's not enough. The good dealers will tell you when you buy these fentanyl pills that, hey, if your body's not used to it, don't take more than a half pill, or we suggest you start with a quarter of a pill because it'll kill you. Now, your drug dealer's telling you that you should start with a quarter pill because if you're not an experienced doper, it'll kill you. Then move up to a half pill and then a full pill. These pills are pressed in Mexico. There's no quality control over this. So you don't know how powerful this pill is.
Yeah, also, you don't even know if you're actually getting fentanyl.
You
might be getting like a fucking cocktail.
Now, this Jalisco operation
was
totally separate. It was not pills. This Jalisco operation was all powder or bricked up. And it also came from traffickers out of Mexico, not related to the pill side. And the investigations started and proceeded when let me get past my notes here, because we took the Sinaloa group off, and then we started working on April 2025 on the powdered operation.
Powdered?
And we worked from
all the powder?
a Alberto
powder.
Diaz.
Wait,
He flew
no
from
powder.
California to Tampa to Bartow,
No booger sugar.
and he brought drugs. He was a transport guy.
California, Tampa?
Oh, by the way, he brought his daughter with him.
No,
The two of them
stop.
were involved in transport. We learned that they
Why do they always gotta bring their
transported for the
kids with them?
Jalisco operation
Jesus, fuck.
and also picked up money. We found out that
Fucking
Gloria,
parents are
Trujillo
drug dealers or drug
Duque,
addicts, and they
who's
fucking bring
44
their
from
child
Atlanta,
to the fucking
she
drug op.
was from, she brought 5 kilos that originated in Mexico. She came from Atlanta, and she was the money person for the cartel. Her job was to do the finance.
To the bank?
Keep
She
in
would have
mind that in addition to that, we had a cousin to Miguel who brought 5 kilos in. She's the only one that's on an immigration hold for violating her permit to come 25 miles inside
Afuera.
the U.S. border.
Afuera.
Somehow when she ended up here,
Migra.
you know, we calculated she was just a little past her 25-mile limit. On April 28th, we got 5 kilos from Mexico. And how are they delivering it to us? In batteries. You see the pictures, and it's in the
Wait, what
batteries.
kind of batteries?
That's right. So when you
is
see
it
someone
car
on the side
batteries?
of the
Oh,
road,
they're
maybe
stuffing it.
putting a new
Yeah,
battery in
okay,
their
that
car,
makes
you
sense.
think
Yeah.
to
I was like,
yourself,
what kind of
self,
battery? Oh, car battery. Okay,
they've got a
yeah,
bad
makes
battery.
sense.
They had to get another
Yeah,
one.
so they
What we
rip
know is
or haul out
5 kilos
hollow
of
out the
fentanyl will
thing
go
in
in
the
this
center
battery.
and then put
Now
it
let
in
me tell
there.
you this: the battery still works. Okay, so they rigged the battery so that it cranks the car.
Oh.
It actually works, and then
So
they just
rigged
take the
it enough
battery
to
out,
where they
deliver the battery
didn't
to
take
you.
out it. They just
You
moved
think
a
it's
lot
a
of
bad
components
battery.
and
They're
stuff.
going to take it into exchange it. They put another battery in the car. Well, in fact, they've delivered 5 kilos. May 24th, we take a delivery in Auburndale. The Auburndale police were vital in this operation, and we seized another 29 pounds of pure fentanyl.
Dude, a lot of this
Let me
could
say
just
that again.
kill a fucking
29
city or
pounds of
a
pure
small
fentanyl.
town or city
So
or
between the
village
two
so quick.
operations and the different deliveries of the drugs,
Right, you just
we loot
lace,
all of these
lace
folks
people
in as either
lace
couriers of
people's
the
shit with
drugs
it.
or
Fucking
financiers
get
to pick up
everyone
the money,
ODing on it.
or
Holy fuck,
transport
man.
people.
You just essentially just kill the
And
whole
we
fucking city or
seized a
village doing
total
that.
of 64 pounds.
Basically lace the water
64
source. Oof.
pounds of fentanyl in these 2 operations. That's enough to overdose and kill 14.5 million people. Let me say that again.
14.5 million. Yeah, that's
And
like
our agents
that's like a
from the
that's
federal,
like
the
a couple
state, and the
states,
local
man.
level potentially saved the
kill like 3
lives of up to
states.
14.5 million people. Or think of it this way. We seized enough drugs to overdose and kill everyone in the state of Ohio,
Yeah.
Or-
there it is.
everyone in the state of Pennsylvania, or everyone in the state of Illinois, and have drugs to kill people left over. So when you look at these undercover agents that risk their lives
3 states.
in doing these types of operations, and then you see it as a risk to their life just to handle this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let
Oh, yeah. You
alone
see,
the
there
violence
have been
and the guns and all
right
the
there have
other
been
issues they have to traverse in a
articles
high-level,
and actually body
large-scale
cam
investigation.
of police.
You understand
right,
why
getting
our
caught up
detectives
or getting caught up in the
and our
overdose
agents
of
from the
just
state
trying to handle this
and the
stuff.
federal government are simply the
They get
very
fucked
best.
over.
So will they ever get the appropriate thanks for saving lives? Absolutely not.
Because if you're not careful,
But the
it's gonna
reality
fucking,
is Well, there's
Basically, well, there are
340,000
different
people
forms, but
that
it looks like
died
some of them have
because
been
these people were greedy and
right,
wanted
breathing
money.
it in
And
too
they didn't
much, and
care
or
that you
touching it
died
with their
between
hand, right,
2018 and
without gloves and
2023.
stuff.
We
Don't hear
know
that.
an immeasurable amount of people would have died with this 64 pounds of drugs had it that these people brought, and they didn't care about you or your loved ones or your children, but we did. And that's why people are alive today, because of the work that our folks did.
There you have it. There's our sheriff, Grady Judd from Florida. He's another real one. Seem a real nice guy, straight shooter. Tell it how's it, right? Tells it how's it. Is it straight? All right, and with that, we'll call it. If you want to give a like, subscribe to the channel, it would be much appreciated. And if you like the channel, yeah, just give comments, tell your friends. Much appreciated. Peace out.